Good evening, everyone. Welcome to McClure High School for tonight's Ferguson-Florissant School District School Board Candidate Forum, sponsored by the McClure High School PTSO. My name is Gary Spiller, and I'm the building principal here at McClure High School, and I'll be the forum moderator this evening. Before we begin tonight's question and answer session, we would like to acknowledge and thank the McClure High School PTSO and its president, Ms. Rhonda Johnson, for hosting this event. Ms. Johnson, if you'd like to stand up. Thank you. The McClure PTSO is encouraging all stakeholders to be sure to cast their vote for school board on April 8th. The structure for tonight's school board forum is as follows. The first portion of our forum, all the candidates received 3 questions on the following topics: qualifications, motivation for running for school board, and vision for our future prior to tonight. Each candidate will be given 3 minutes to answer each question. For the second portion, time permitting, we will have questions submitted by the audience, in which we'll have candidates will have 2 minutes to answer each one of those questions. And finally, for the final portion, each candidate will be afforded 1 minute to make closing comments. If you'd like to ask a question, please write it on a note card and turn it into our PTSO president, Ms. Johnson, who just stood up. She does have note cards and pens available if you would, again, like to fill one of those out. Please remember that not all questions will be read tonight due to time constraints. This forum is intended to be a dignified event. The audience tonight is asked to remain respectful in its demeanor. Please refrain from applause and open commentary during this event. At this time, I'd like to introduce our candidates in order of filing. First, Mr. Robert Chabot. Mr. Paul Morris. Ms. Kimberly Benz. Dr. F. Willis Johnson, Jr., Dr. Donna Paulette Thurman, and Mr. James Savala. The candidates drew cards tonight to determine the speaking order. The order of response for the first question will be as follows. Mr. Morris will respond first, Mr. Chabot second, Dr. Johnson third, Ms. Benz fourth, Dr. Thurman's fifth, and Mr. Savala will be sixth. For the remaining questions, the order will be rolling to the next candidate in line, and they will have an opportunity to speak first. Candidates, let's begin the session with one of the formal questions. Candidates, if you have a question that you'd like repeated, just please let me know. And again, I will be keeping your time. For our first question, Mr. Morris, this will be for you. Tell us about your background and what experience and qualifications would you bring to the Ferguson-Florissant School District that would benefit the entire school system?
Thank you. First, thank you, Mr. Spiller and Ms. Johnson for having this tonight. It's great. Really appreciate it. Well, my background is long in this district. 4 years that I have, in some way, shape, or form, for most of that 4 years, been involved in the Ferguson-Florissant School District. I started in spring of 1974 as a student teacher at McClure North, and here I ended up as president for the last 2 years on the Board of Education. That's pretty invested, pretty long history. I spent 16 years as a teacher in the district, spent 26 years as a resident. Both my children have come through the system and have been very well educated, and I certainly want to keep that going. We have Miss Denise over here, who was one of the teachers for my daughter in preschool. She's gone here actually longer. She went here about 14 years, and she's now a financial analyst for Charter, doing very well. My son's works for the FAA, and is a pilot. But what do I bring to the table? I bring a lot of experience. I bring a lot of depth of knowledge from this school district, from one end to the other. As a teacher, I spent a lot of time not only in my own classroom, but other people's classrooms, other people's buildings. I taught 3 different buildings. I taught 3 different buildings. McClure North is where I ended up. I started at Berkeley High School and Berkeley Middle School. So I do have a broad depth of secondary education. My son went, of course, to the school. So it's It's a great honor to sit on the board and to help the people of the Ferguson-Florissant School District and to help the students in particular. I have a great love of students, and I try and do my very best to make the decisions necessary for their best interest. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chabot?
Hello, everyone. I'm Rob, and I am proudly seeking my second term to be on the school board of the Ferguson-Florissant School District. I have been a resident of our school district for the past 20 years. I've been involved in the school district for 13, 14 years with my children starting off in the Parents as Teachers program. I'm a local business owner. Our company is located in Ferguson, and my wife and I own the company together. We started our company 14 years ago on a napkin at Burger King out there in West Florissant, and have grown that company into a leading geriatric eye care company in the St. Louis region. I have an undergraduate degree in history and government, a master's degree in education, but I do not have certification to teach. Instead, I went on and became a corporate trainer instead, until I started our company up. I'm a veteran of the United States Navy, and prior to the board, I served on multiple positions as a PTO at my children's school. Even today, as I volunteer at my kids' schools, I do it as a parent and not as a school board member. I think that's the most important element that I can actually bring to the school board. What I offer to this district is leadership. 3 years ago, I was elected to serve on this board to improve the district for all students, to give every citizen and every student a voice in the direction of this district. And my wife and I truly believe in the public education system, and we believe in the schools that my children attend and all the schools throughout the district. And what our district really needs is a very stable, effective, and engaging educational system that's going to attract people to our communities. And it's something that I've been fighting for the 3 years I've served on this board.
1 minute.
My education, my business skills, my leadership, and most importantly, being a parent with children in the school district, I think are the most important attributes that I can bring to the district. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Johnson?
Again, good evening, Principal Spiller, and to the PSO McClure, to these fine candidates, and most of all to you, good evening. I'm Evan Johnson Jr. By day, I am the senior pastor of Wellspring Church here in Ferguson. Over 3 years ago, I came on assignment to plant what is called a parachute church in one of our former institutions known as Ferguson United Methodist Church. Came here with nothing but me in the car, and knowing anyone, not anyone, and a building and a dream. And since then, we have helped to develop, I think, a formidable enterprise and a noteworthy social service and a faith community known as Wellspring. I bring to this position an experience in training, my undergraduate degrees in secondary education by default of my mother, who's a teacher, twice retired here in Missouri, my father, and even my fiance-to-be, who's an educator. We believe and have an affinity for education. After matriculating from Butler University, I went on to do master's work at Christian Theological Seminary in Indianapolis, and most recently, a few years back, completed my terminal degree in ministry at the United Theological Seminary. But not only do I have academic credentials, I bring an experience as a professional in education, not just as a teacher, but one who has consulted and trained educators, one who has worked in educational reform and uplift, working for previously a former governor, the late Governor Frank O'Bannon, and formerly a mayor who's now sitting Congressman Mayor of McCleaver. I've worked on legislation and education reform for some time. Not only have I provided resource and leadership in that area, I've also served in growing nonprofit organizations and community-based businesses. And so I understand the finances, I understand the relationships, I understand the tough decisions that go with having to be a leader of a multi-million-dollar enterprise. But most of all, I bring a sense of compassion, a sense of commitment, a sense of integrity and ethics to an opportunity like this. We look forward to being able to serve and further answer your questions, but most of all, humbled by this opportunity tonight.
Thank you. Ms. Benz?
Good evening. My name is Kimberly Benz. I want to thank you for hosting this forum. I want to start off by telling you a little bit about myself. I am a graduate of the district. I graduated from McClure North in 1997. My husband also graduated from McClure North. He graduated in 1994. We currently have 4 students in the district. My daughter, she'll be a freshman next year at McClure North. My son Anthony, he'll be a 7th grader at Cross Keys. And then I have my son Matthew and my daughter Deanna, who will be still at Parker Road. My daughter Deanna, actually, she also had participated in the Early Childhood Center over at the administration building. So we had participated in that program as well as parents as teachers. So I have a long history as a parent as well as a former student in the district. I've seen, back when I was in school, I had seen so many A+ schools and so many awards within our district being given to our elementary schools. And I go in running for school board with that vision in mind that we are going to return to that. Right now, we're really kind of on the brink of things. We have so much going on in our district that we'll touch on as we move along this evening. But really, I've been involved in the strategic planning process that's currently going on. I've also been invited to participate in the formation of the Ferguson Florissant Foundation, which will be a nonprofit foundation to benefit our schools, where we will be able to receive corporate funds, which will be for focused projects within our school district. The experience that I bring, my education is I have an associate degree in business management, but really I've taken on leadership jobs in Scouts. I've been a Scout leader for 8 years.
1 minute.
Thank you. I've been a Scout leader for 8 years with Cub Scouts, where I've taken on a leadership role as den leader, and now I'm also pack trainer and treasurer. I'm not afraid to take on leadership, and I'm not afraid to communicate with the community, and I think both is what our district needs right now.
Thank you. Dr. Thurman?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I know there's so many other places that you could be tonight, but I know this is important to you. Thank you so much for sponsoring this tonight. Just a little bit about myself. I'm married to my husband, Bob. I'm retired. I'm retired from the school district. My husband's also retired. I didn't have the opportunity to attend the school district here, but I graduated from University City High School in 1974. I have a bachelor's in education, I have a master's in counseling, and I have my doctorate in administration. I've been married to Bob for 26 years, and of the 26 years, we have been in the Ferguson Florissant School District, the entire 26 years. Of the 31 years that I've been an educator, I spent 15 years of it here in Ferguson Florissant. I was a very proud principal of Griffith School for 10 years, and the principal of Holman for 5 years, and that's where I retired in 2009. I am a proud member of the New Sunny Mount Missionary Baptist Church, where I'm very active. I am a deaconess in the church. I also run the youth group choir. I work on Vacation Bible School. I'm a member of the board of Christian education, and so I'm very active in many of the initiatives there in the school district. I'm a member of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and I have many hobbies. I love crafts and arts, and I love making dollhouses. So, why do I want to do this? I have the qualifications because I have had the experience of being a principal and running a building, and that incorporates budgets, working with the curriculum, working with parents, working with students. I've also worked in many diverse districts. I've worked in Normandy School District as a counselor. I've worked in Pattonville. I've worked in Webster School District, and I started off in special ed in San Antonio, Texas. So I've had quite a bit of experience there. So budgeting. I believe that I can be a trusted leader in the district. You have entrusted me with your students for 15 years in the district. And when I worked in the district, I really believe that I made an impact on the students and the parents of this district. So I want to, as a board member, do the same thing. I understand the process, the educational process and governance. I've been through the MSAP process. I've also had the opportunity to, as a principal, to go through that process, and so I know how the evaluation process works. I'm a creative thinker. I love to collaborate. I'm not afraid to make hard decisions. I love working with the community. I'm a listener.
30 seconds.
I want to hear what you have to say, and then I want to work with you as a community, and especially the boys and girls of the school district. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. How's everyone doing? Thank you for having me today. I think this is a great meeting. Get a chance to meet all of us. My name is James Zavala. I'm a parent. I have 2 children in the district. They both attend Parker Road, 3rd grade and 6th grade. They love being in school. Parker Road is one of the reasons we moved to this district. I'm married for 15 years. Matter of fact, we have an anniversary coming up May 1st, so we look forward to that. But my children love the district. I love the district myself. We moved there because of the school system. We plotted that way. It was intentional. We did not just land here. We moved here because of our great school district. I would like to see it restored. I grew up in the district. I graduated from Berkeley in 1979. Doesn't seem that long ago, but yes, 1979 I graduated. I'm proud of the district. I've lived totally probably 28 years, only after this for a short period of time, moved away and came back. I enjoy being in this district because of the educational system. Anytime your educational system is excellent, people move to your district. Your property value stays high. And that's been one of my concerns of lately, of things that have happened in our district that kind of give us a bad PR. And I would like to be part of the team to help change that. I'm part of the union in the 1914 Steelworkers Union at Husband Refrigeration Company. I've been there for 28 years. I'm very well respected by my peers there. I'm one of the top shop students there. My president, Gary Ray, enjoys having me on the team. We fight for causes, solid performance of our team, respect of management. I think what I bring as a union also is that protecting our teachers. We have great teachers in our district. There's nothing wrong with our teachers in our district. We have excellent teachers. I believe what I come with also from a parent's perspective and being part of the PTG team at Parker Road is that to assist our parents need a little bit more assistance in some of the ideals that Ferguson Boys have gone forth in that our parents don't connect to. And I think I have that connection to that group of people to assist in that area. I think I have some good ideas for reaching those parents. I believe on the first day of Meet the Parent at school, I noticed multiple parents. After that, you don't see any. I think that's a great time to grab them, give them some ideas of how we can move forward and to reaching those parents. I believe in a system kind of called ask the child. Ask the child what? Ask the child several things. How's their homework? How's the school? But you have to embed that into the parent. And I believe I bring that to the board. I would love to be on this board. Again, I love the district. I'm a leader at my church, Salone Church, City of Peace, where we have over 10,000 people, and I'm one of the top leaders there. I'm very well respected. I bring a great deal of integrity. You can trust me. You can trust me. Thank you.
Thank you. We're now beginning question number 2, and we will begin with Mr. Chabot. Candidates, what motivates you to become a Ferguson-Florissant School District school board member, and what do you see as the primary work of the school board?
What motivates me is continuing the work that I started 3 years ago. I want to continue to give the students and the community a voice in the direction of our school district. That's one of the great initiatives that this board has started was the strategic planning process. That was initiated by the current board, and we are thrilled that we're actually starting that process to give the community that voice in the direction of our district. I see the primary work of the school board as oversight. There's been a lot of discussion about accountability, and I'm really glad this question was posed to us today because I think there's really going to be a difference of how we as candidates view accountability within our district. It's like, what is the point when you say I want accountability or I demand accountability, but you don't follow through with accountability? if you're not willing to make those very difficult decisions, this district needs leadership that is willing to make those tough choices when necessary. When you are faced with a decision that you know is going to create a firestorm within our community, do you choose the easy way out and not make the choice that you think is right? Or you buckle up, make the decision, and take the hits? That is the leadership that I'm offering to this district. I'm willing to make those tough decisions. Because what do you do if policies are not followed, if directives are not followed, if state statutes are not followed, if expectations are not met? Do you ignore it, or do you, because of fear or personal agenda, just ignore it? This is the reason why I'm seeking re-election to this board. I could have taken the easy way out and not run again. Some people are very surprised that I decided to run again.
1 minute.
And like I said, it all comes back to accountability. That on this board, I believe in accountability. And the only way that the citizens of this district can hold me accountable is by me running again. I stand behind every vote I ever make. I am proud of the service I've given to this district, and I look forward to 3 more years if you'll have me.
Thank you. Dr. Johnson?
Well, obviously, there's a lot that personally has motivated me as a community leader, as a parent, as one who cares for and covers and guides parents and professionals in this district, and particularly as one who lives, plays, and is vested in investing themselves and their family here. This district is important, it's critical. As a business leader as well, it's critical. And so the motivations are many, but principally, I can't just keep talking and critiquing something that I'm not willing to participate in its improvement or in its continued growth. And so I believe very strongly, not to be so philosophical, in the idea that I must become the change that I wish to see, and I must be participatory in that. So that's principally what motivates me. This is not without much deliberation, much consideration. For most of you, I've been under the radar, and to come out at a time like this means that I believe that this is a very serious endeavor and a very responsible opportunity to come out and lead. What is the role? Well, for me, it's very simple. It's advocacy. It's providing some sense of development for the district, resource-wise and other, and then also it is about sustainability of that district. I like to coin it a little bit different, just simply say board members and directors of boards are principally responsible for going out and creating the goodwill, the relationship, and the positive public relations, that friend raising, getting people on your side. We need some people in Jeff City on our side. We need some people in the municipalities that surround us, caring and equally invested in what we're doing. We also need to be finding diverse ways and leading the charge as leaders in this district, knowing its financial situation, helping to advocate within the community to make sure that we are providing the resource and we are requiring companies and individuals to help to present and share or have their pride and share. Lastly, we have a responsibility to making sure that we are a viable entity, that we are an anchoring community and an anchoring institution as it relates to education of our young people and the community development that comes from not only the schools, but those who invest in the schools around here. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Benz?
What motivates me is that I'm a parent in the district. I have 4 kids in this district, and I see that with the surrounding school districts struggling, I had started attending board meetings, and I see that we're struggling too. And I don't want our district to lose accreditation. I don't want our district to go bankrupt. So what motivates me is seeing our district succeed so that my students and your students and all the students in the community can graduate proudly from a fully accredited school district. How I want to do that is, first of all, financial stability. We have to have our books straight. I know this last August, there was a proposition that had been defeated by 58%, and I've been very open that I did not support that, but 58% of the community who voted that day did not support that. And what that tells me is that the confidence that the community has in our district is lacking. And so we need to improve community confidence, we need to improve communication and transparency and get our books in order and make sure that the community knows what steps have been taken to make cuts where needed. Where are we streamlining processes? And all of that is actually being worked out right now through the strategic plan and the various meetings that I've been going to, the strategic planning sessions. We've had one specifically talking about the financial status, and we were supposed to have one talking specifically about accreditation, but that's been rescheduled. So I recommend that anybody, if you're available, please start attending these meetings, because it's community involvement that's going to turn around our schools. And whether or not you have a student in the district, or if you're a taxpayer, or if you send your kids to private school, or you homeschool, you still live in our community, and how our schools affect our community and how our community affects our schools, it's hand in hand. And it's not until we realize that and we really work together hand in hand, both will succeed.
Thank you. Dr. Thurman?
What motivates me? Children. Children motivate me. And I know that there are quite a few things on the list that will probably match what the candidates have here. Accreditation. First of all, we have to have high-achieving students in order to get that. I would like to see our schools with 99% of our students achieving at the level that they should achieve it. I want to bring accountability, transparency, integrity, trust, and I want for you to be able to come to me, speak to me, and for me to listen to you. You should be able to express your concerns at any time to any board member. I want to protect our property values. I want fiscal solvency. We must have that. And right now we're not there. We're not even close. I feel a personal responsibility for several reasons. I don't have children. Bob and I don't have children, but we have many nieces and nephews that we care for. I have two, a niece and a nephew, twins, Jared and Jordan, who are at Robinwood School. I talked with their mother, actually my great niece and nephew, and I asked mother to move into the district because I am so proud of this district. And so now I'm going to be held accountable for what I said to her about this district. So I really do want to see our district do well. I've heard people talk about, this cries out for us to help our district because it seems to be struggling right now in many areas. I believe that I can positively contribute to our school district. It's probably, well, I won't say probably, I think it's time for a change. I don't believe in career board members. I truly don't. I think that we need to have a lot of diverse thinking. I think it's time for new ears and eyes, and I can bring that to the board. As I said before, I'm an independent thinker. I think the responsibility of the board is to serve the people of the community first and foremost. You're the ones who elect us. You're the ones who trust us. I want to bring that trust and integrity to the board. I know that there are other things that the boards are responsible for in developing policies and hiring people and things like that. But first of all, we have to build a relationship with you. We have to build a good relationship with our community so that you will trust us with the big questions and those difficult decisions that we have to make. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Savala?
Again, what motivates me, truly I have children in the district, but also what I've seen recently is my property value go down. Just because of some decisions made, call them tough decisions or firestorms, if you may want to call them that. But I thought our district was in a great great place. I've been going to the board meetings for quite some time, and the leadership that I saw was going is in a good direction. I didn't see it. I mean, I talked to people who are leaders at schools, principals, teachers. They didn't see it. My kids were happy. Teachers were going in a good direction, it appears to be. And I think when you have to make some decisions, you have to consider the entire community. I believe in education the community first, and I think that got kind of lost. I don't believe in also career lifetime members on the school board. You need fresh ideas. You need people who are willing to step up, who are capable also. I believe what you have up here is a diverse group of people with different backgrounds that bring that to the board. I think the present members on the board who are not up for re-election, I think those who are running again now, we have that idea already on the board. I believe we need new diversity of the thinking on the board, if I may say so. And also too that with everything that's going on in our community, I mean, I think we all kind of understand that, things that are going on, but it hurt the community, it hurt our children. Children were deeply hurt. They were never responded to. They tried to petition, they tried to do several things, just were ignored. So I think there was a lack of communication of the care of all of our children. I think if you were at the big board meeting, you saw different people just hurt over a decision. And you can make those kind of big decisions, I think the corporate world and all that, and in our educational system, but when it affects your children, you can't toy with the children. You can't go up and down with that without even a reason of any type. And I think transparency has to be more broader than what it is.
1 minute.
Also too, with the Riverview, Norm, anything going on with their district, then our name, Ferguson, Florissant, one of the most, renowned districts in Missouri, is tagged in at the same time. Timing was bad. So with that decision, it just hurt. My children taken by it. Everyone knew the prior superintendent personally. It got me involved because I like to see a change. I bring to the board diversity, parents' position. I come as a union rep, protect our teachers. Our teachers are vital. They are prepared. They have the drive. They have the way of learning that reaches out. I see it happen daily at our school. They care about our children. And that's what I bring to the board, to protect integrity. And tough decisions, yeah, they have to be made, but it has to be broad and thinking in the entire community, not just for whatever reason.
All right, thank you. Mr. Morris?
Thank you. What motivates me to become a Florissant School District board member? Well, I have, for the last 20 years, have been involved in the Florissant School Board, helping candidates get elected, talking to candidates, having a forum with candidates and board members for the last 20 years. Now that I am one, it's certainly different being on this side of the table. The vast decisions that have to come before you is astonishing. The experience that you have sitting on the board right now is invaluable. Mr. Zavala mentioned that property taxes, those have been going down for years. It didn't just start in November. It started long before then. It was not going in the right direction. It's still not going in the right direction. We need to work on that. We need to have leadership in place that can change that and make it go the right direction. We have been doing the same thing for a long, long time. A school board member once told me that being on the school board is like steering a battleship with a canoe paddle. And that's what it's like. It is very, very difficult to change directions. You cannot do it quickly. It does take time. And I'm willing to put in that time that it takes to make it go the right direction. I've been in education all my life, since I got out of college in 1974. In one form or another, I've been in education. I have a vast background, not just in teaching shop, which is what I was. I was a shop teacher, and I'm very proud of it.
1 minute.
Loved it. But I've been in many schools doing many different things. I've brought STEM education to this district. I have pushed and pushed and pushed to make that happen. And that is a change in direction. I'm proud of that. I've been going to Jeff City for 18 years, going to lobby people in Jeff City. 18 years ago it was fun. It's not fun anymore, believe me. So, but why do I want to be here? Because I want to continue what I've done. I want to continue to make this a better district, and I believe I am the person to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. We are now on our third and final formal question. And Dr. Johnson, you will begin. The question is this: what is your vision for the future of the Ferguson-Florissant School District?
Well, I tell you, to hear the stories and the references of how long people have been in tenure and hear about the alumni should be something that we celebrate and acknowledge and pray that we can continue to have those kind of testimonies and those kind of stories. I hope for a district that will be here. I hope for a district that will, again, have the confidence of its community, its constituencies. I hope for an institution that both formally and informally edifies, empowers our children. I know I'm sounding a little preachy, but you asked me an idyllic and futuristic question. We don't know what the future holds, but we do know if we are not prepared and we're not strengthening ourselves and ordering ourselves and building the kind of, continue to build the kind of infrastructure, continue to do some of the good work that not only this board has inherited, but also in some way has perpetuated. If we don't do what is necessary now, we won't have a future. That's not anybody's fault but our own. So I hope that there's a district, and I hope for our district to be such where we can handle whatever issues, whatever wins, whatever reigns, with open-mindedness. I hope our district will continue to represent itself inside and out at its highest levels to its lowest ranks. Most of all, I hope that we don't have to go the way of other districts in this North County corridor. And I believe the eyes of this community, of North County, of St. Louis, and of this nation are watching what we decide to do and what we become. Hopefully we'll be like the young lady I saw kind of jotting down some notes. Got some good stuff going on here still. I can see she obviously was jotting down some notes and taking ideas. I hope that we are a model, and desire for us to be a model of what resurgence, transformation, and longevity looks like.
Thank you. Ms. Benz?
My vision for the district, first and foremost, full accreditation. In order to have full accreditation, we're going to have to make sure that we are growing our students to be extraordinary thinkers, goal-oriented students. We want all of our students to be looking to the future and be career-bound, college-bound, and be successful. And I think that we can do that. Right now, there's so many uncertainties that are facing our district. First of all, transfers. We don't have any control over that, but we need to be prepared as a district to take on however many students come our way, because those students deserve an education too. Whether it's the 400 students that are here this year returning next year, or the state legislature decides to do something like split Normandy or anything like that, we need to be prepared, because we could end up taking in 1,000 students or more. And so in order to do that, my vision is we need to be fiscally sound again. And another uncertainty is also the superintendent issue, which everybody has been kind of tossing around. It's kind of like the elephant in the room right now. Nobody wants to say it, but everybody's thinking it. My focus right now going forward is that the current board is going to has the decision in their hands as for Dr. McCoy's fate. Any of us who are elected will probably not have that on our plate when we get sworn in. However, what we could end up potentially having on our plate is the work and the time and the effort that is needed to potentially hire a new superintendent and look at all of the candidates that are available. And I'm willing to put in that work and make sure that I'm willing to work with Dr. McCoy if he comes back, and I'm willing to work with the best candidate we could possibly find if he doesn't. So with that, again, we have the strategic plan, we have the superintendent issue, and we have transfers. And so with so much uncertainty, I'm just looking to the future that we can get past all of those again as a community.
Thank you. Dr. Thurman?
My vision for the school district is, number one, for our students to feel safe, to achieve, to feel that we believe that they can achieve. We cannot be accredited without successful students, and I said that earlier. We definitely need to be accredited. I don't want to see us go the way of Riverview and Normandy. Not only do I want us to be fully accredited, but accredited with distinction. We can do that. We've done it before, we can do it again. And also, I know the superintendent, that is the elephant in the room, but it is one of the things that I have on my list of things that I'd like to see happen in our district, is to put in place a highly qualified, child-centered, community-centered, intelligent, compassionate, approachable leader in the superintendent's position, whoever that is. It doesn't matter to me who it is or how he gets there. Well, how he gets there, yes, I take that back. But it does matter to me that I am able to work with whoever is in that position, whether it's Dr. McCoy or someone new. I have no problem with anyone who will be in that position, because right now, what we need is leadership. We're lacking that right now. We need the leadership in our district. I would like to see, I have a vision of teachers being happy, feeling trusted to do the job that they are asked to do. I'd like to see morale go up. Right now, the morale is low. And when I talk to teachers, when I talk to community, people in the community, that's an issue.
1 minute.
When the morale is low, I think it does affect what happens in the classroom. Fiscal solvency, I mean, that's something we have to have. I think it's important for us to have that in order to hire the best teachers, retain them, and also to have the best facilities and resources for all of our children. I also have a vision of having a board that everyone can work with. A board that's cohesive and productive.
30 seconds.
I just truly believe that we can do that. That we have wonderful candidates here. It's going to be your choice. We need your support. And we ask that, first of all, that you go out and vote. And I ask that you vote for me because I can bring trust, integrity, and support to the entire district. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stahl?
Well, my vision for the Ferguson Florida School District is, I'm sure, the same with everyone on this board and each and every one of you. To be accredited again, to move in the direction of where we've gotten accustomed to. We're kind of spoiled here. We've always been on top. I have not seen it any different, whether I was living directly in the community or when I moved out. Ferguson Florida is the place to be education-wise. We have maybe another community in our state, but statewide, we're the place. We're proud of that. I would like that to be restored again. That's the future I would really like to see. I see that we have a lot of vacant homes in our community. How are we going to get people to move into those homes? We want parents in that district. And we want people of a certain class in our district. We want to include everyone. Doesn't matter what background you come from, but we have these houses available. Banks own these homes, they're not paying taxes on them. We need people in these homes. How do we get that to happen? It is your school district. Just draw the people that you want in your community. I don't think any of us are going anywhere. We have a growing and vital community. If you look down Lindbergh, all the restaurants that have appeared in the last 6, 7 years, we didn't have that. We used to travel a good distance because our educational system that we're known for. People can trust the people that live here. People here bringing a good income. They like a good quality of living. But when you tamper with the educational system, it changes things, it changes the game. I think if I was a parent right now looking to move into a district with children, I would question it. Before Ferguson Florida was not a question. You moved to Ferguson Florida because of the school district. Great teachers. I mean, these teachers have not changed. Let's get back to that again. The teachers have not changed. We don't worry about the teachers. It's what we have in maybe the media and this, that, and other that have given us, the bad PR. The teachers are there prepared. So I like to see the teachers, again, Donna Thurman spoke on it, to be more motivated. I think they still are, but we're taking a chance. We're risking it right now. And I think the board itself, I just said, we have the ideal of incumbents that are running. We have that ideal already on the board. I think we need some fresh ideas on the board. We have some pretty smart people, dedicated people. I come again as a parent and connect. That part of is missing with a parent. My child goes to school again in Park Road. She's 3rd grade, and she brought to my attention that this year she knows the different level of children in her class of not catching on as fast.
30 seconds.
Last year she didn't see that. So there's a parent connection there that needs to be tapped into. And I think I matched that group of people that assist in that area. The board, and by myself being on the board, I can come up with ideas. I know people who are just anxious to tap into that. If we don't tap into the parents' connection to our children and what they do with their homework and all that, we'll continue to lose. I can't wait. I hope to be on this board. We have great candidates in several of us, and I really would love to have you vote. But I care about our community. I love being in Ferguson. I don't know where else I can move to and be enjoyable as much as I do, and prideful as I am. When I say Ferguson Florida, the people, they understand, what community I live in. So I would love to have your vote.
Thank you. Mr. Morris?
What's my vision for Ferguson Florissant School District? Almost 3 years ago, I had a long conversation with the superintendent about the vision. And 3 years later, we still haven't got anywhere close to that. The vision that I have for Ferguson Florissant School District is one of the focus schools, one that are aimed directly at achieving the students' needs for what they want to do in their future. The general education high school that we have now is good, but I think they can be great. But we need to have some change. We need to move these schools to more focused so that they can better serve the students that we have. Speaking of the students we have, and the students we may have, and the students we don't have yet, that is not up to us to deal with. I mean, we try and deal with it, but last June we were headed into the next school year, and all of a sudden the ruling came down from Jefferson City that we were going to have transfer students, that everybody was going to have transfer students. And so we shifted gears in a matter of moments to be able to accommodate those students, and we have. We are the 2nd largest district as far as transfer students in the St. Louis area. And we have accommodated every last one of them and made them feel part of the Ferguson Florissant family, and I'm proud of that. Next year, we don't know what's going to happen with Normandy in particular. We know that they're running out of money. We know that they're in danger of being disbanded, but we don't know what's going to happen. But we need to be prepared for that. Dr. Thurman had a great list of characteristics for a superintendent, and I'm looking forward to working with that superintendent when they come on board. My focus, my vision for this school district is one of greatness. I think we can get there, but we need to be focused. We need to invest in our schools. We need not to have people vote down our tax levies so that we can continue to operate at full capacity. We're having to cut over $6 million this year.
30 seconds.
Again. Since I've been on the board, I'll probably add up to close to $15 million we've had to cut out of the budget. Just a lack of funds. And that needs to change. We can't do it. We don't earn money. We can't raise prices. We can't charge our students for education. So we need to bring that in a tax levy. I'm sorry, it hurts everyone, but it'll hurt worse if it doesn't happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chabot?
My vision for this district, you know, it's amazing that when I came on the board 3 years ago, that was a question that was asked many times. What is our vision? What is our purpose? Where do you see us going? It took us almost 3 years to start the strategic planning process in hopes that we can actually answer that question. I've had discussions with the current board member, past board members, and they're even talking about it here tonight about Normandy and Riverview Gardens. And we have to be careful because we're headed down the same path. That's going to be us here in a couple of years. And I said, you know, you're so busy looking down at your feet that you don't have the energy to lift your head and expect greatness. Why can't we expect to be Webster Groves or Clayton School District or Ladue or Lindbergh or any of the other ones that are achieving greatness? We have that potential. The brain trust that's involved in this school district is absolutely amazing. Now, I have the benefit of being on this board for the last 3 years, of sitting in meetings after meetings after meetings. And I gotta tell you, in the last 3 months, the teamwork that has evolved has been absolutely inspiring. That people are coming to the table now that typically never would sit there for a 2-hour meeting and stare at it. And now they're actually offering suggestions, even things that are within their realm of specialty. They're bringing up questions like, have you thought about this? And then that spurs a whole new discussion. It's a beautiful thing, but for 3 years, I promised to bang the table for somebody, that we haven't had that. And finally, we're getting that. You know, I really believe in this district and what we can achieve because I hang out with the students.
1 minute.
I volunteer. It's amazing when you're sitting there running a bookstore table and the students that are working with you and they're talking about their dreams and what classes they're taking and what they want to do. And it's those students you have to grab onto and lift them up and put them on the pedestal and show, look, we can do it. But unfortunately, we put too much tension, I think, in the wrong areas. And we need to tap into every resource that we have within the community, within our school districts, throughout the state. And with that, we can achieve greatness.
Thank you. That concludes our formal questions. At this time, we are going to move on to the section that has been reserved for audience questions previously submitted on note card. If you choose to still submit questions, you may do so. Please turn those in to Ms. Johnson. Ms. Johnson has extra note cards over there. Just a reminder for the candidates, it's going to go a little bit faster. We have 2 minutes to respond to each question that has been submitted. Okay? Again, audience, we will do our best to try to get to as many questions as possible. Again, not all the questions submitted may be answered due to time constraints. So again, we'll do our best. Okay? Ms. Benz, you will be leading us off on the audience questions. And again, if anybody needs anything repeated, please let me know. Okay, Ms. Benz, you ready? All right. For our first question from the audience this evening, it's this. What are your ideas for increasing parental involvement?
Well, parental involvement has definitely been a struggle. I've been part of the Parker Road PTG. I was a member of the Cross Keys PTG, and we see, as James had pointed out earlier, that at the beginning of the year, you see a whole lot of people show up, and then it just kind of dwindles. I think communication is key. I think we need need to keep those parents engaged by letting them know that they're part of the process. Even though they send their kids to school, 8 hours out of the day, doesn't mean that they let go of the process during that 8 hours. They really need to know that they are, as parents, as teachers, their parents are the first teachers. And so that kind of gets lost as the kids get older, especially when you reach high school. And it's sad to say, but sometimes high school kids, I have a daughter who's getting ready to be a freshman next year. And so I know that, she's asking for more independence, and we're trying to give that to her, but there's a time, that's actually when they need us most. And so they stay on the right path. And really, I think communicating that to parents and really letting them know that, hey, you are still their first teacher, that's going to be the first step to increasing participation in our schools.
Thank you. Dr. Thurman?
One of the things that I found as a principal when I worked not just in this school district, but in any school district, is that when parents feel comfortable coming into the school, they come more. When you do things with the students that require the student to go home and ask parents about things that, projects they need to do at home, parents tend to come out a little bit more. When you have an open school where you have programs for students to come to the school and to show the things that they can do, when you tap into the students, their strengths, when you look at some of the things that the students are maybe, for example, students may not be so academically inclined, but they may be a star in music, they may be a star at dance. When teachers find out about what the student likes, what the student interest is, that's important. The other thing that we need to do more of is we need to have teachers who are calling parents and have an open communication between the school and the teacher. I did home visits as a principal. I did home visits. I called parents just to say, we need to call parents and celebrate the good things that happen with boys and girls at school. A lot of times our phone calls are about things that are going wrong in school. Let's encourage the parents and make their children stars. Make them proud of the fact that their child attends school in Ferguson Florissant School District and that they have a relationship with the teacher, with the principal, and even the other thing too that I think is very important is how you greet parents when they come to the building, when they come for that first time. Continue to invite them, make phone calls, personal calls. It is not something that's simple to do. It is very difficult. Parents have a lot of things on their plate, but think about the child. The child has to be number one, and whatever it is that we need to do to make that happen, that's what we need to do as administrators and teachers and anyone employed in the Ferguson Florissant School District.
Thank you. Mr. Savala?
My vision for parents getting involved, that's just my pet peeve there, getting our parents involved. That happens, we are successful. We're greatly successful. Kim and I are on the same PTG team, and we pushed around all kind of ideas about how do we do that, especially with that first group of people who come in the top of the year. Dr. Thurman just brought up a good point of getting them active right then, letting them see the value in their children, and also how they receive when they come to the school. Sometimes some people, when they approach a school or any environment that's different for them, they don't feel connected to it, so they don't make their way back. We can bridge that gap. I think the board has so many things to do that parent aspect gets lost out of because you can't make a demand, but it has to be some volunteer process that are put in place to reach those parents. We had a recently function at PTG at our Parker Road School, and we invited the grandparents to help out. That was a very resourceful activity. The grandparents also who retired, they can come up to the school and do a little small thing, and that connects the parents. Because the grandparents are going to ask, what else is going on in your school? Why aren't you not involved? So you connect the grandparents also who are retired, who come up to the school and do those kind of services, and that will connect also with the parents. The biggest thing with the parents is some of them, the responsible ones, surely going to make sure that their homework is done. But how do we reach the ones who maybe not appear to be so responsible? But they were pulled all kind of ways, spirits that run into one's home or challenging. So how do we connect to that? And there's a way too, we can reach some percentage of those people by asking them, communicating to them. It has to be consistent though. so they can help out their young children, especially the second and third graders. When they don't grab it then, they really stay lost for a while. So I think we can really reach those people by communicating when they first come. You have to get them right there when they're there. You don't send in notes home, does not quite get the job done. You know, if they're not very responsible for other things, they're not gonna. Thank you.
If you want to finish that last sentence.
Yes, and if you send the notes home, they don't respond to those. But we have to get them that first day when they come for the very first time meeting our teachers and give them something, an activity to do to bring them back.
Thank you. Mr. Morris?
Parental involvement, that is the $64,000 question. How do you do that? How do you do that? Well, this board certainly has gotten some parents involved. I will say that. Anytime you have a board meeting, has 1,400 people there, I'd say that's pretty much parental involvement. But how do you get them involved in their children's lives? How do you get them involved in children's education, in the schools? Single parent families is much more difficult. I know that because I was a single parent family. I was the caregiver of my children for many years, but I did it. I worked 2 jobs, but I did it. Some people are having to work 2 and 3 jobs now just to make ends meet. That's sad.
1 minute.
It takes a lot of time away from their children. How does the school board solve that? I don't know. I wish I did. If I did, I'd write a book. But we do try and we have been trying to engage parents. There's an old saying that all politics are local. In this particular case, I think getting parents involved falls on the building level, not so much on the board level. But I wish I could help.
30
I
seconds.
tried. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chabot?
3 years ago when I ran, that was one of my platform topics because the lack of communication that was coming from the school district down to the basic level of the parents was non-existent. The communications department that the school district had at that time was more reactive communications department. They weren't quickly putting information out there to the parents. The word on the street was they were there to protect the school district, and we quickly changed that. Fortunate for us, we have our communications director is actually a parent with children within the school district, so that she's deeply engaged, highly involved in her school. As a result, the communication has just taken off. Can we do better? Absolutely, and I think we're really trying to do that. The Facebook has been a fabulous tool that we're using. We're reaching out because the print portion of it, one, was very expensive, so we kind of cut back on that, and that created a problem. So then we try to go into electronic media, but not everybody has access to the internet. So what we're still continuing to do is give greater access of information to the parents to get them more deeply involved. We had a community engagement department, parent liaisons that are working closely with the schools and their PTGs. And it's a work in progress that it's going to take more and more, but really what it comes down to is finding those parents who can develop a connection or relationship to the schools. For me as a parent, it blew my mind that why would you come to your child's music show or come to the PTG meeting or help sell pizza? I couldn't understand that. And it's been a challenge for us as a board to try to address that, but I do think we're moving in the right direction.
Thank you. Dr. Johnson?
Yes. We have a responsibility from the top down to model as best as we can the behavior that we want to see both in the classroom, in the larger community, and throughout the administrative district. And I think there's examples on this existing board as well as in the candidates where people are doing that as best as they can. I can speak specifically, I'm a follower. I think I'm on the Twitter account and I love social media, and so I engage personally, and as a result of the relationships and other people that I lead and so forth, they then are connected into that. We personally, as a family, as well as a community and a business leader here in the area, have committed ourselves into the school district. We have Oasis volunteers at some of the local schools. I'm here in other schools greeting and meeting young people. We've tried to infuse ourselves into the process, and so by default of that, we have become informed, as well as not only informed, but we've also become connected and visible. And when people see that you're investing in their young people, and they also see that you are trying to aid in the uplift and the improvement, then they seek you out. One notable piece is that in our congregation, we started Parents University, where we actually create the situations and scenarios to empower parents, because everybody's not going to come to the school. So we try to bring those resources into the school, as well as invite them and meet them where they're at. But I think we have a responsibility, even as board directors, to model the change that we want to see.
Thank you. All right, Dr. Thurman, you will begin the next question. This question from the audience is as follows. What role do you think is appropriate for our school district to take in the student transfer program?
Well, it's a difficult question because we have to follow the law. And whatever it is that the law says we have to do, we have to do. I personally feel that we have the teachers who are capable, who are inviting and wanting and would accept any student who came through the door. That's our responsibility. We're to educate any child who comes to our school, no matter how they come. Whether it's because they're transferred there, they moved there, that's our primary responsibility. So, first and foremost, if the law says we have to do it, it's something that we have to do. Secondly, it's not the child's fault. It's almost like we're blaming the child. The parent makes the decision about whether they want to transfer the child to the school.
1 minute.
And then the child has to come. How would you feel if you were put in a position where you're placed somewhere and you feel like you're not wanted? I don't think that happens in our school district. I don't think our teachers are like that. I don't think that that's an issue for our teachers. I know that it has a lot to do with money. I understand that. But I have to break it down to the child and how that affects the child. And the bottom line is, when they come, we've got to educate them. In order for us to be accredited, we've got to educate them. And in order for them to achieve, we have to make them feel welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Spalla?
Would you repeat that question, please?
Yes, I will. What role do you think is appropriate for our school district to take in the student transfer program?
I follow what Donna said in the law part, but I did see in this last transfer that I thought was pretty successful. It happened overnight, it happened instantly, and I think at the top of the year, going into last year, the first semester, I don't know when you got the notice exactly, when the notice was sent out, but it was a very short time. It was not before the prior semester, before the summer. I think the school district did a great job with the leadership that you have at the time. My daughters attend Parker Road. Well, I don't know, can't remember the number of students that came to our district, but I was concerned. What I did see was 1 or 2 children in the 3rd grade, 2 in the 6th grade at each school being administered. It happened so easily, you didn't notice it. What I did see also to our school, teachers have been added in. My daughter's in 3rd grade and 6th grade again, and I was fortunate that those 2 grades receiving an additional teacher.
1 minute.
I think those were appropriate actions to take when you bring in children in your district. I tell you, I really didn't notice. I was concerned, of course, when you see the number of students that were transferred to our district. But I think it was done in an excellent way by the leadership that was in place. And also with that, I think you have someone who makes good contact with the children from the leadership part. Our principals do a great job in that area. But in the transfer student, model that was done prior, given a short notice, just distributing the children
30 seconds.
evenly throughout the school district, I thought was excellent. I think you followed that model, and if you can do it in a great way in the short time that you did, you can also be very successful knowing ahead of time. You do the same strategic plan that went forth before by adding a teacher here, there, and distributing children 2 or 3 in the 2nd grade, 1 to 2 in the 6th grade throughout the entire district, not in just one school flooding. That's what I saw.
Thank you. Mr. Morris?
Thank you. Student transfers, that is a huge, huge question. And I know that when it got presented to us in June that this was going to happen, we did snap into action. The team did a great job of assimilating all the transfer students into our schools. We were the only district that hired additional teachers to accommodate all the students that we were getting, to keep the class sizes at a reasonable level. And that is our credit. The money issue that follows transfer students is also a huge issue. I know it's a financial drain on Normandy and Riverview to pay tuition, but we're not the highest by any stretch of the imagination. You go to Clayton and Ladue and you're paying $14,000 to $18,000 compared to just under $11,000 for us.
1 minute.
There's a bill out there that wants to limit what the transfer students have to pay to around $7,000. And I have been fighting with the legislators in Jeff City to not do that, not to have Ferguson Florissant subsidize the education of those students from other districts. It is not our responsibility in that sense that we have to give up our money that we're spending. We raise our money from our local taxes, and that's tough enough as it is. But to put the burden on the residents of Ferguson Florissant to put additional money into the pot to educate other students is a hard pill for me to swallow. I do not mind educating any of the students that come to us. I do not object to that in any way, shape, or form. And I'm glad that they came. And I'm glad that we were able to accommodate them. I'm glad we were able to give them an education, and hopefully it's a better education they were getting. But we do have to follow the law, and right now the law says that they pay the tuition, and I certainly support that, and I support that for the children of our district. That's what I.
Thank you. Mr. Chabot?
Student transfer, a punitive law that's destroying school districts. It's going to be a kind of a rippling effect across the state of Missouri. Next year, we said earlier, we're going to be cutting about $6 million. We've cut so many low-hanging fruit, as we like to call it, that things on the books could be funding sports programs, closing schools, music, everything. That is where we are at. It's bad. And it would break my heart for these students to come in from Riverview or Normandy hoping for a better education, to know now that they are in classes larger than they were experiencing in their current school districts, that they no longer can play sports, they can no longer participate in orchestra, they do not have books to take home.
1 minute.
And that is a challenge that this school district has. That I hope, as we move forward, that we have the leadership in place to protect the interests of our school district. So that way, when the students do come, and they will, that we can guarantee them a better education than they were receiving from their prior schools. But my interests are to the citizens, the voters of the school district.
Thank you. Dr. Johnson?
The challenge is complex, but the call is clear. Our role is to be, one, a leader, and leaders have to sometimes model and mount up. Secondly, we need to be light. It's obvious that their students need to be educated and are expected to go somewhere in what is probably a dark time for them, and we need to provide that sense of hope and that sense of healthiness in an unstable and unhealthy environment in which they may be coming from. That's the role of the district. And then lastly, we have an opportunity to be a legacy. We have an opportunity to set in motion and be, hopefully, something that's remembered. Many of you know we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of Board versus Topeka, Board of Education, and Brown versus Board of Education in Topeka. And somebody had the courage, even in the face of law, to do what was right.
1 minute.
So that's the role and responsibility of this district and each one of us who's going to lead this district after April 8th.
Thank you. And Ms. Spence?
Our role with the transfers, as it's already been stated here, is really not in our hands. And that's a scary prospect. There's a lot of people hashing all of that out. There's been a Senate bill that's been passed, it's now gone to the House. It's my understanding there's going to be probably about 1,000 amendments to that bill before they end up coming to a conclusion as to where those students are going to be and how tuition is going to be handled, et cetera, come next August. Fortunately, Normandy, the state has released $5 million so that Normandy can get through this school year, and we're not scrambling right now to try to place those students to at least finish out the school year. But that's kind of a Band-Aid. And I think that a lot of the things that we're talking about right now are really a Band-Aid. So I'm going to get back to our district needs financial stability, as you said. And I don't know how many of you have attended the recent board meetings. At the last board meeting, there were two things that had been brought up. One was that there will be another tax increase that will be seen on the August ballot. At least that's what's been tossed around. And it's a 50-cent tax increase this time. And with that, I think that starting now and actually communicating with the community, we're in the process. I think the community will really understand at this point where we are at. I know I have also. And the other thing is, too, that they're also wanting to put a bond issue. And just very quickly, one of my ideas is actually instead of taking a $30 million bond and having to have more energy efficient schools and that sort of thing, we need to build a new middle school up north and get the sixth graders out of the elementary level in all of those northern schools that are,
Finish your thought.
okay, that all of those northern schools that are at capacity right now get 6th, 7th, and 8th in a northern middle school, and suddenly if we do have that influx of students, then we're prepared because we'll have the classrooms and space to do so.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Spalla, you will begin the next audience question. And the question is this, states the following. Each candidate, what is the largest single-year budget that you have had to manage, and have you ever had that work audited? Each candidate, what is the largest single-year budget you have had to manage, and have you ever had that work audited?
Well, I haven't had the opportunity yet to manage the first floors of the school district budget. But pertaining to budget, at my job, I work in the quality department. I manage the scrap area and Husband Refrigeration, the units you see in your grocery stores. We deal with millions of dollars of scrap and product. I'm more or less the key person in the area dealing with that and make sure it's done right. I report it to all of our leadership. We do a great job of managing that money. I've been to the strategic planning meeting and saw the numbers on the board of what's needed, $6 million that the school district is off. I associate so much of it to the housing market. I agree, Mr. Morris, that we didn't control that. The housing market really crushed every district. But the vacant homes we have in our district right now, we must entice people to move in, and that brings in a great income. Pertaining to our budget that we have, I heard so much about cutting. I think Mr. Chabot spoke about how we look down at our feet instead of looking up in the sky. And the sky of this one would be to raise money, finding different other ways to tap into money. We burn up a lot of energy on the negative of that. I think we tapped into looking higher, trying to raise money. It's concentrated on cut. And that's all we're going to do. There may be some other avenues out there. We burn some energy into that to raise more money. But pertaining to budget, you look at it's about counting numbers. I'm very good at accounting, to managing numbers, knowing the numbers, and trying to raise more money for our district. That's what I say, opposed to just
30 seconds.
And I just I can't wait to serve in that area also. There's a lot, to make sure that we don't cut the wrong things, land being cut, gym being cut. We lose then. That happens. Our teachers' morality can go down even lower, that they can't serve the children like they like to serve our children. So I try not to think in the sense of cut, but try to bring some fresh ideas. We need fresh ideas. We have ideas already on the board. We need some fresh ideas in so many different areas. And even in our prior superintendent, that great direction was going. I thought, in the sense of the board meetings I attended, sounded like we need a masterful person and a superintendent. And I thought we had that, but we need whoever we hire is masterful at knowing the numbers, reading the numbers, asserting the numbers. And I saw that happening at the board meetings I've been going to the last couple of years. But where we can tag on next, whether it be him or someone else, they need to be masterful at that also.
Thank you. Mr. Morris?
Well, on the school board, it used to be a $132 million budget, now it's down to about a $120 million budget. So it's shrinking, and that's difficult. And yes, that is audited every year, and yes, this year we got a new audit firm. We changed auditors for the first time in 10 years, I suppose, just to make sure that they weren't getting complacent, that they weren't too comfortable in their job, and had a great audit. Everything came out fine. Short of that one, on a more personal level, was charged with the technology budget at Florida North, which was $250,000 for a 3-year period. And I was able to take that $250,000, and I did more with that in my high school than they did the other 2 high schools. We far exceeded what we could do, and made sure that every dime was spent correctly and every body was served. We added tons and tons of new technology in school during those 3-year period, and it was quite successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chabot?
Well, I guess I have the benefit of this because I'm on the board, working with the district's auditors. When you're managing a $125 million budget, you're looking at deficits pretty much every year, you really try to pay very close attention to every line item that's happening within the district. And that is one of the reasons why we insisted that the auditors go out to bid and that we selected a new auditor, as Mr. Morris had just said, to give the district a chance to have a fresh set of eyes on the budget to make sure that everything was in place. On a personal note, as a business owner, our annual budget is close to $1 million. And it's something that I watch very closely. Over the first year that we started our company was we made $60,000, and we brought the company up almost to $1 million. And done that by being conscious of budgetary needs
1 minute.
and making sure that money is spent in an appropriate manner. That's all.
Thank you. Dr. Johnson?
In my former life of state government and the governor's office, I was assigned for some time in the Office of Budget, where at the time we were overhauling the tax assessment, property tax assessment in the state of Indiana. And I think they had a pretty good sized budget that somebody helped me read. But on a personal note, much like most board members, on a personal note, before Wellspring Church, most of the churches I pastored were well over a century old, and they had assets in well over 7 figures, in which we not only managed annual budgets, but we managed annuities, stock options, those kind of things, a complete financial portfolio. Most recently, I came here 3 years ago from scratch and started a small business that recently was audited. So, and I got QuickBooks.
Thank you. Ms. Benson?
Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to say that I have been a stay-at-home mom for the last 14 years. I was fortunate enough to leave the workforce when my oldest daughter was born, And so my biggest budget is actually our home income. And so as a mom, I'll tell you, I'm thrifty. And I coupon and I mean, it's, yeah. But all joking aside, really, I think that just having that mentality of saving, 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 where can we find, waste? Where can we find creative ways of finding more money? It's just anything. Basically, I had gone to school for business management. I had gotten an associate degree from Flow Valley. I've taken accounting classes. I had managerial accounting, et cetera, et cetera. I have not personally used that in the workforce. However, I am very familiar with the accounting basics. And actually, school district budgets are based on a cash basis accounting system. And so it's the simplest form of accounting. And so I would have no problem whatsoever. I've been going through the budget. I've been going through all of the numbers and everything at the strategic planning sessions, and I understand all of the reports, et cetera, et cetera. So even though, no, I have not been audited either. So.
Thank you. Dr. Thurman?
Because I've been principal at several schools, I've had the responsibility of making sure that we are good stewards of the monies that we use to run each school. And I've had anywhere from, depending on if it was San Antonio School District with a very small budget to, as a counselor, not as a principal, but up to about $40,000. And I had to make sure that one of the things that I prided myself in doing is at the end of the school year, I always wanted to give something back. If it was $10, just to make sure that I was in the black and not in the red. So that was very important to me. One of the things that I was really blessed with is having a office manager who also helped me to make sure that I kept good records and that we stayed under budget. It's very important for each building principal to be responsible for staying under budget. The other thing too is that I've never been audited except as through the school district and making sure that my budget was solvent, that I made sure that I didn't go over budget in the school. Now, there may have been one or two times, but it wasn't my fault. No, I won't say that. No. Seriously though, I think it's extremely important to make sure that whatever budget you get, that you work within that budget.
Thank you. Due to time, this is going to be our last audience question. Then you'll have time for a 1-minute closing comment. But for the last audience question of the evening is this: what will you do about the increasing dropout rates across races, especially for Caucasian males and African American males? What will you do about the increasing dropout rate across races, especially for Caucasian males and African American males? And Mr. Morris, you'll be leading us off.
First of all, it doesn't matter to me what color they are. Dropout rate's an issue. Black, white, green, yellow, doesn't make any difference. What will I do? I have been pushing for the last 3 years for additional alternative education and have not gotten much success with it. I would like to have a lot more. I would like to have an elementary alternative education so that kids in the elementary school have a chance to find success in a different environment. I would like to have an enlarged secondary alternative education so that we can service more students. It gets to the point sometimes that Mark Twain is full and a student who could be successful doesn't have the opportunity to be. So that is my way to decrease dropout rate. That would be the correct way to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson?
students, the educational system that we have, in some elements, is a failure. Because we go through this as one size fits all. And there are some students who can thrive in that environment, and there are some who cannot. You can take a class of 30 students, and if they're high achievers, they can manage them. If you take a class of 30 students that have 50% are the lower achievers, 10% of the high achievers, and the rest mixed up, it's a little bit more demanding on the teachers. What we need to do is create an educational system that identifies those problems earlier and then to address them at the elementary level. Because I had this discussion yesterday with a friend of mine, and when you have a student that comes in the first grade and they have not met the curriculum needs of the first grade, we'll move them to the second grade. So now they're in second grade, and now we're moving them along, and maybe they got to first grade, but now we're going to move them on to third grade. So what's happening here is this gap keeps building and building, and then by the time they get up to high school, there's no more free passes. Either you pass algebra, or you pass biology, or you pass social studies. If you don't, you get an F, and you get held back. So then what we end up having is students who are now at senior level, 17, 18-year-old, there is no way they're going to graduate because they are not prepared. In order to fix this problem, we have to start it at the elementary level and put every resource and focus that we have, and then if that means retainment, then we retain them. But it's something that you cannot wait until they're sophomores and juniors in high school to fix the problem, when it began back when they're 7 years old.
Thank you. Dr. Johnson?
There's no simple answer for tonight. It's obviously something that we'd have to investigate. But on a personal note, starting with my own son, my challenge to self has been, again, you've heard this said a couple of times tonight, is to model, to create some type of expectation and bar that he and other young people can meet, not to be like me, but to show that it's possible, even when you come out of the hood of Kansas City, Missouri, that you can still do this. Not only modeling, you're going to see this as an acronym for man. You need to act. That's one of the reasons I'm here running for school board. There has to be advocates to people sitting at the table at every level, not just the strong principals and assistant principals like we have here and elsewhere, not just strong teachers, but also people who are helping to make sure we recruit and retain quality staff, and we have programming and the diversity of programming that was mentioned. And so that is one of the reasons that I'm here, not just for African American young people, but for all young people. Lastly, we have to then create a system in which they can actually navigate. And I think there's examples of that happening, not just in this school district, but elsewhere, and we have to continue to be on the cutting edge of developing that. So I guess that's my first program, the MAN program, when you elect me April 8th.
Thank you. Ms. Bennett?
Yes, I would say that, well, first of all, students who drop out, it's not a sudden thing. Most students who drop out, it's a process. Unless they have a major life-changing event that makes them feel that they need to quit school, usually it's something that has been built upon over some time. So really, I feel that the key would be to identifying those students and getting early intervention. And one of the early interventions that I would put in place is increased peer tutoring, and make sure that those students who feel lost in class or are really struggling, that we match them up with students who, they don't have to even be the A+ students. Match them up, if it's an F student, match them up with a C student. Just so that even if that's where, somebody that they relate more with than the A+ student. And so really identifying those students first and foremost as early as possible, whether it's at the elementary level or middle school, or unfortunately, if it ends up not happening until they actually reach high school, and having that early intervention.
Thank you. Dr. Thurman?
Yes, I'll try not to repeat as all the things that have been said, and there's so many good ideas, but my major thing too is to find out early. We know, teachers know when students drop out, and they don't drop out in high school. A lot of times students start dropping out in 3rd grade, 4th grade, as they start to feel inadequate, and they feel that school's not a friendly place for them or some place where they can excel. It's very important to make education relevant to every student. One of the things that I found out the other day when we had our meeting at central office is that there's a new program out called High Step. Instead of the GED program and the way it's set up, it allows students to actually graduate and get a diploma and feel good about getting through that process. And also there's the Missouri Option Program that helps students who are failing. And part of what we have to do is to find those students in advance and have counselors who are ready and teachers who are ready to identify those students so that we can get to them and encourage them to continue. And also to reach the parents, to get the parents to encourage the students to continue. But most of all, we've got to make them feel like they can do it. We have to do that.
Thank you. And Mr. Chabot?
I reiterate what all's been said. I mean, the young age, 2nd and 3rd grade, vital. I graduated with good friends of mine who missed the school year. They went back, got set back a year. It didn't affect them when they were in 11th and 10th grade when I knew them well. It happened when they were in their early ages. And so it did not affect them. But I think when you put a child back, a student back, is more embarrassed in the 8th, 9th, 10th grade. 2nd and 3rd grade, I think it's kind of identified. My own daughter, again, last year she said, oh wow, a lot of children in my classroom were extremely bright. In 3rd grade this year, she said, I know a lot of children are just not like it was last year. She notices it. I think if that point, there's going to be a holdback, it happens there. And then opposed to when they get to 7th, 8th, 9th grade, it's very difficult for them to take that embarrassment and they lose connection with being in school. Another great part is that they're showing love, showing care. Our teachers in this district do that, but still there's an absence with just some, we know that every student can't be reached, not every student. That's just a dream, like, I won't say nothing, but that's a dream. But we surely can raise it by a great percentage, to 90%. And when others see others doing better that belong to a clique, they see 2 or 3 of that group doing better, they tend to want to do better. They don't quite go to the curve of going in the negative route. And so but the early age is vital to me. That's just one of my things of reach the 2nd and 3rd grade, because that's where my children are at. I understand how vital that is. They don't learn their math, they don't learn their arithmetic, they don't learn their multiplication at that age, and you push them on. There's no way they can catch on the science, 7th and 8th grade, just the lost already. So help prevent the dropout. I think it's a lot is tagged to that area, to help them out at a very young age.
Thank you. That concludes our audience questions. Now, candidates, you will have 1 minute just for a closing remark. Just to remind you that the time is now 8:48, so we've been timed within our time frame. Let's just open up with the closing remarks. It is Mr. Chabot. So, Mr. Chabot, you'll be up first for closing remarks.
3 years ago, I came on the board to make a change, and I still have work to do. I have served this district with integrity, with a complete, utter focus on what's best for this school district. I really love this district. The teachers, parents, my son goes to this high school, and it's a fabulous place. And we can do better. It's hard in 30 seconds to say, I ran to make a difference, and I really believe I am doing that. And I would really appreciate the honor for your vote on April 8th so I can continue making a difference in our schools, because I know we can do better. I know we can reach higher. I know we can instill in the kids this opportunity that some can never fathom or experience, because we have the tools here to do that. And I appreciate your vote on April 8th.
Thank you. Dr. Johnson.
vote on April 8th is about more than just electing 3 directors to the board. It's about how we are planning and committing ourselves to our future. And I'm excited about being part of that future. I'm excited about the possibilities that still reside, not only in this school district, but also in this North County community. And I want to be a part of that. I'm not the smartest cat in the room. I'm not the oldest cat in the room.
30 seconds.
But that means I got a little energy, a little time, and a lot of commitment and passion. I want this to be the kind of school district, and I want to be a part in making it happen, that my children and those to come will be proud of and be a part of. So I'd love to have you vote, lead forward. Have a great day.
Thank you. Ms. Benz?
Well, I want to thank everybody again for coming out. If I have the opportunity to serve you after April 8th, I want to bring financial stability, keep accreditation, have community confidence, transparency, all of those things. But first and foremost, I'm a parent, I'm a mom, my kids are in the district. I'm going to take every decision that comes before me as a board member and put the students first. Because it's not just your students, it's my students too. And so with that, I ask for your vote April 8th, and I hope that you entrust this board with me and whoever else you decide on April 8th, because that's my focus. And I hope that we can keep that focus throughout the rest of this campaign on the students. We have over 11,000 students in our district, and I want to make sure that the focus stays on them.
Thank you. Ms. Thurman?
I want to serve on the board. One thing I want to say is this is not about race, the noun, the name of a person, place, or thing. It's about race, the verb, and action. It's time for action. It shouldn't matter what color the candidate is. The only thing that should matter is the race to the finish line. And the finish line, we should have accreditation, students achieving high fiscal solvency, high staff
30
morale,
seconds.
community stability, and a highly respected school district. In every decision that I will make as a school board member, the students will be at the forefront of every decision. We need to retain highly qualified teachers. We need to bring pride to our district. I want to have that opportunity, and I ask for your vote on April 8th so that I can do the work that needs to be done in the school district. And I thank you for listening.
Thank you. Mr. Zavala?
Yes, I would love to have your vote. I come as a parent again. Best interest of our children. The children still right now are heartbroken. They're kind of lost still. I think the dropout issue was a good topic being brought up because we probably lost a couple more because they were really focused. And if you listen to the children, they were just hurt. I'm here in support of our children, in support of our community. I live in this community. I care about the school district. That's the one. You can take the restaurants off Lindbergh, you can do all that if you like to, back like it used to be, but it's a prominent place to live because of the education system. I'm supportive of our teachers, supportive of our students, community leader. I'm not going anywhere. I hope to build in this community. I would love to have your vote. I have the focus, I have the desire. I have the age on my side a little bit still also, but I really want your vote to make a change. And diversity is needed on this board. I heard the race about not being a race, but the race to the finish line. But just the diversity that we bring. You see parents, you see community leaders, you see educators. We already have established on the board that they're in place already. We need just a change in diversity of the people you put on the board and what they bring to the table. And I feel like I bring it and I will be committed to work as hard as I possibly can for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Morris?
Get to the last, thank you. 3 years ago, I ran for the board because I care about this district. I love this district. I have spent most of my adult life in this district. And I am deeply, deeply invested in what goes on in this district. I will continue that for the next 3 years. What makes me sad is I have a friend that's in the room tonight, and I know she voted for me 3 years ago, but she doesn't want to vote for me tonight or this election because of what's gone on the last 4 months. I can't say anything about what's going on because that's just the way it works. That's the system we have to live within.
Very sick.
But I can say that the decision that we make is based on the best interest of the students of this district, of the district itself, and we are committed to doing the right thing. We're doing the right thing for the district. It may not be the right thing for me politically, but it is the right thing for the district, and I will stand behind that 100%. Thank you. I hope for your support on April 8th.
Thank you. This concludes the McClure PTSO Ferguson-Florissant School District School Board Forum. The McClure PTSO would like to thank all the board candidates for their participation in this evening's school board forum. The McClure PTSO would also like to remind you to please get out to the polls on April 8th and cast your vote. Thank you for being a good audience and for your support of the Ferguson-Florissant School District. As always, have a good evening.